Uncensored Histories Episode 1. As a historical figure, you can be either famed or ill-famed. The historical figures in this video perhaps fall into both. At the end of the day, they were leaders. However, it is accurate to argue that they will certainly be remembered more for the worse than for the good. This video will cover 5 of the cruelest tyrants history ever witnessed. Number 1. Enver Pasha. The Ottoman Pasha, Enver, commenced his political career as a Turkish military officer. He rose to power, gaining the authority to lead the diminishing Ottoman Empire in both the Balkan Wars and the First World War. Enver Pasha is known as one of the cruelest tyrants of the 20th century. Using the Armenians as scapegoats for his back-to-back military defeats in the battleground, he endorsed his systematic annihilation of Armenia. Many Armenian men, including mothers and children, were barbarically murdered. The term genocide was produced to explain the brutal event. However, many history books in the 20th century covered up the brutal event. Number 2. The Mongol leader, Genghis Khan. Genghis Khan, the brutal emperor of one of the world's largest empires. Like all other tyrants, Genghis also left behind a ruthless political legacy. It could be argued that the immense growth of the empire correlated to the large-scale murders of the people in the areas that Genghis wished to conquer. His status preceded him through Asia and Europe, with the rest shaking as Genghis and his army extended into the continents, with any in his way knowing their fate beforehand. He is single-handedly responsible for the death of 40 million people. Number 3. Adolf Hitler, the maniac. Another example of the few names from history that stimulate such instant and forceful revulsion is the Nazi leader Adolf Hitler. It could be argued that his hands are marked with the blood of 6 million Jews. In his first year of power, Hitler mainly focused on anti-Jewish policies that would limit Jewish involvement in German society. For instance, Hitler ordered constant assaults on the Jews and their properties as well as promoting boycotts of Jewish businesses. Over time, these anti-Jewish policies became increasingly radical, which eventually led to the brutal murdering of the Jewish population. This event is remembered as the Holocaust. Number 4. Attila the Hun. For the first time, the Christian Roman Empire was threatened by a pagan king. Attila was able to march to the gates of both Constantinople and Rome and bring the empire to its knees, penetrating deep into Roman territory and destroying army after army, city after city. For the Romans, used to dealing with the Christian Goths and Franks and making alliances with them, they met one who had no interest in talking. Attila murdered for the sake of murdering. He and his army were war-hungry and enjoyed killing. It is believed that he also murdered millions. Number 5. Vlad III. I'm sure you guys heard of Dracula before. Although Dracula is merely an imaginary creation, the author named his notorious character after a real person who occurred to have a taste for blood, Vlad III. He is also known as Vlad the Impaler. He ruthlessly battled to defend Romania and Bulgaria from the Ottoman Empire. The nickname, Vlad the Impaler, comes from his unique way of eliminating his enemies. He impaled their heads. This could be considered as one of the most violent and painful deaths one can ever face. He was also known for cutting the breasts of women, roasting children and feeding the remains to the family members. Disgusting and evil. This is Uncensored Histories. Like this video and make sure you subscribe for more interesting videos like this. Stay safe.